It's cold, man.
It's cold.
Yeah.
How's the
I
drive?
don't like. The drive is honestly not that bad.
So today in New York City, it's been snowing all day. It's been the first real like snowfall
Yeah.
this whole winter. I feel like every year it gets less snowy and
Yeah.
snowy. It's
Last year we got a good amount of snow, didn't we?
get closer to your mic.
Last year didn't we get a good amount of snow?
I don't remember. I don't think
You
so.
don't remember?
All I compare it to is when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember one time it snowed so much that I couldn't walk through the snow.
Yeah.
It snowed like 2 feet in New York City.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
now if it snows a lot, it's like 6 inches.
Yeah, that would be a lot, and it would even last a whole day.
Yeah, well,
Be gone the next day.
I'm pretty sure they clean it like right away.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Especially the
everybody's like-
streets and highways. They
Mhm.
have the sanitation trucks with the salt spraying out.
When I was in California last winter, we got there in LA and we had to drive north
Mm-hmm.
towards if you know California, it'll be towards what's it called? Bakersfield. So and then when we were there, it snowed a little bit. A little bit. It was
In
winter.
California?
Like 2 inches. Yeah, in
Damn.
California. Because you have to go through the mountains.
Okay.
So California, like LA was like 80, 90. No, it was like 60 or 70.
That's considered cold, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
But you have to go through the mountains and then back down the valley. And through the mountains, it snowed like 2 inches and the whole highway closed. And it's like a 2 hour long highway, Interstate number 5, and it was just shut down. And we had to like go through like the back, like roads of California to get home, cause the whole like imagine like the BQE closest, like the whole thing, no cars going in and out, and then as you're driving through the back roads, it's just a bunch of cars that are like on the side because they slipped and then it fell into like I don't know, like
Damn,
trees
that's
or
kind of
something.
scary.
Yeah, it's just I don't think people in California are prepared for the winter.
Even the rain, like when it rains in California,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that get into accidents.
Because they're not used to it. Well,
Yeah.
also a big thing that happens in California, or when it doesn't rain a lot, all the oils and from like cars gets absorbed into the concrete, and then when it rains, it all comes up.
Oh shit!
So
Is that
then-
how it works?
Yeah, so it gets super slippery. So
Wow.
if it doesn't rain often, and then that one time it does rain, the road gets super slippery.
Oh damn.
Compared to New York, where it rains all the time, so it kind of gets cleaned out. Another thing is that since this is all assumptions because I don't really drive. I don't live in California. One thing that happens is that they're not used to driving in the winter or in harsh weather, so they just drive normally and then they get into wreckages. But it is what it is. People gotta learn.
Just hope that's not fatal, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't see no fatal accidents. I just saw like small accidents, like they just got kind of spun off and fell into a ditch or something. Nothing crazy.
Would it be like a deep ditch? Like
Nah,
they could just drive back out, or would they?
they
have
could
to get,
probably drive back
towed
out, but they probably got stuck in the
Damn.
mud because it was like roads in the middle of nowhere, so they were just kind of like in the mud.
And nobody, since it's like back roads, nobody shovels it or anything, right?
I don't think so.
Damn.
It was weird. It was a weird area. So yeah, hopefully you're driving safe.
I mean, it was fun. Like I was sliding on some parts, but it was like,
You're sliding.
yeah,
That's not good.
it's like drifting.
You're gonna spin out. No, it's not drifting.
It is.
Drifting is
I mean, I was in an open area, so
You s-
like
you
if,
spun.
even if I would have spun out,
360. Woo.
even if I would have spun out, I would have just did like a circle. I wouldn't have hit anybody.
But right now, today, when you drove here,
Yeah,
you
it
spun.
was just like whipping a little bit.
That's still dangerous. Also, does it
It
happen
is.
because your car's not heavy?
I think it's just a traction control. It's
You
like
turn
it
that off?
doesn't have no. I left it on, but like it's just not catching grip. So like the lights on my dashboard kept flashing, but I mean it felt fine. Like I never felt like I lost control.
We also are not going fast, right?
Yeah, no, I was
feel like
going like
most-
20.
Most accidents happen when you enter like the highway and you're
Yeah,
going fast.
and when you lose control going that fast,
You
then
spin.
you're kind of out of control. You can't really regain control.
I
But
don't
like
know.
20, it's fine.
It should be fine.
Yeah,
And then, do you know what to do if you start spinning?
I mean just
Just
hold
hope for
tight on the
best.
wheel.
Okay. So I don't know if the mic picked this up, but you could hear the rain or the snow outside.
Yeah, banging
through the
against the
vents?
windows. Is it against the windows or is it a vent?
It's a vent over there. It goes straight to the roof. You can hear
Uh-huh.
all the
I hear it.
noises if it's really quiet.
I mean, it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. Watch it, man. It starts like a blizzard out of nowhere, and you're stuck here for like 3 days.
For 3 days.
That one, I'll kick you out. You sleep in the balcony.
God damn.
I'm just
I'll be
kidding.
dead.
Nah, I don't know.
Freeze to
I
death.
always think about that because when me and Brian were here by ourselves,
Yeah.
and there was a hurricane warning or like a blizzard warning, we wouldn't
Yeah.
do anything about it.
We're-
Like like you know how you're supposed to prepare, get food, get water, get canned stuff, paper, whatever you need,
Yeah.
like groceries at least. We just be like, we're good. Like we just
Word. Me too. I'm the same way. I'm too lazy.
yeah, because I think
And it gets crazy because then
Uh-huh.
like everybody will be at like those stores and just be like, everybody will be like fighting for water.
like gallons and stuff.
Yeah, every type of anything like the big packs, like the 32 packs, or like Poland Spring or whatever. People will be buying like cases of them.
I think one time, me and Brian, this was during the blizzard, we went to go grocery shopping
Mm-hmm.
right before blizzard, and it was too crazy. We went home, and then during the blizzard, we're hungry, so we couldn't go. We couldn't order food, so we went to a Chinese food place down the block, and it was open, but we had to walk there, and it took a minute to walk because we had to walk through all the snow and slush and shit. But honestly, like shout out to them, they were open during a freaking blizzard.
Chinese restaurants, we don't close for nothing.
I mean, I don't know how much business they had, but I definitely.
They probably had a good amount, honestly.
people
Like
that-
if they're the only spot open,
But I don't think they were delivering.
yeah, probably not. Pick
Who
up
knows?
only.
You know what's something I've been doing lately a
What?
lot? I've been like fascinated by serial killers, which is real funny.
I'm intrigued by it too, in a sense, in a psychological way though. Like
So have I. Like psychological and just knowing their stories, because
Yeah.
I saw the Ted Bundy tapes,
Yeah.
or the movie or whatever, like a couple months ago, and then recently me and my girlfriend decided to watch the Zodiac Killer, the movie, and it was
Uh-huh.
pretty good. We didn't finish it, but it was okay. It was alright. But then after that, I just started like I watched a documentary about the not the Boston bombers, the Unabomber, and I watched the documentary about the Oklahoma bomber, and then from there I just went to a rabbit hole of serial killers and all their freaking histories and shit. And then recently I started watching Mindhunters.
yeah,
Do you know what it's about?
no,
It's about the people who studied serial killers in the 70s. It's like two FBI agents that
Uh-huh.
went down and interviewed like these serial killers before they were even called serial killers. They were calling them sequence killers. And that reminded me about something that we talked about before we even started the podcast. How we want to interview like anybody.
yeah,
And they were having like casual conversations with this guy who like killed like a bunch of people. And I was thinking about what would I be doing if I was in that situation where I'm across the table from a guy who killed his mother and then raped her head. So, yeah.
that stuff interests me too though. Like, for me, like talking to just anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody has a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in some way or another you can probably relate to them. So what if like you do that with a serial killer? Not like
You think you get through the conversation, like you specifically?
I don't know.
Because this guy, the first season, if you guys have watched it, right? They interview Ed Kelp or something like that. He's this 6'9", 300-pound plus guy who I think he was called the co-ed killer.
The
And he-
co-ed killer?
Yeah, so he killed a bunch of like young girls.
Damn.
But he started out when he was like 15. He killed his grandma, and then he went to so he's a weird character. So he likes talking to the police, and he likes like telling his story all the time. So when they went to interview him, they were like, "This is perfect. This guy talks a lot." So then he was explaining how he killed his grandma at 15, and then he was put into a mental asylum until he was 21.
Oh.
So 15 to 21, that's when most boys mature and they have like their first sexual experiences. And he was like, I was deprived of that. So when I came out, it was like a brand new world that I didn't understand. And then he was talking about how his mother was constantly berating him and torturing him mentally and verbally. And then one day while he was killing people, he the whole time he wanted to kill his mother, and then he finally killed his mother, I think, and raped her skull. And then he was explaining to the interviewer how when you cut somebody's throat, you want to do it from the ear to cut the jugular and cut the like he was going into details, and he was talking about how when you fuck a skull, it feels way different when you know, like a vagina or something. And then the whole time I was like, I wonder if how I would feel if I was sitting across from a guy that was
I
telling me
feel
that.
uncomfortable, man.
Exactly, right? So he was talking to him about it, right? And they were alone in a room, so he had no chains or anything. He asked him to take him off, and this guy's like twice his size, and has killed people, and he's sitting across from you.
That's kind of scary.
And then he'll walk up to him and touch his throat and be like, "I did it from here to here, and you squish this side, like you squish this and stuff." And I was just like, "God damn, bro!" Like I definitely want to talk to people. I definitely want to talk to people that are you know, crazy,
out of the norm, right?
Yeah, just to get an interesting conversation.
You see, I would feel uncomfortable because like that's something that I feel like it just crosses my moral lines, right? Like when you feel comfortable enough to like take somebody's life, that's like something that is like it's just way beyond my comprehension, right?
So let's say we this podcast makes it big enough that I could have a serial killer sit in front of you. You wouldn't do it? Or you'll feel uncomfortable in it?
I would feel uncomfortable because like just the fact that like maybe if they were able to just
hop over the table
and
just
kill me,
you out.
I would feel really really uncomfortable. Like if it was in a way where if you could set it up and have me feel comfortable enough to the point where like, all right, I know this person wouldn't be able to kill me.
That's not fun though. in the show they're at a table like this, like just talking across from each other, and the guy's just the guy's able to walk around watch the show. It's really good. Like the first episode is kind of boring, but after that it's really good. And you kind of start liking the serial killers, because the specific one, Ed, whatever his name is, he's really charismatic, and they explained to him that he was really cool with the cops. He loved talking to the cops. He always talked about all the killings. He didn't do as they were coming out in the news. And then the reason he got caught is because nobody suspected him, and he was able to get away with everything. He just turned himself in. He was just like, I'm tired of this. I'm just turn myself in.
Damn.
So then and later in the show they interview another serial killer who's like what you expect the serial killer to be, like dumb and unintelligent, like very messy, and just kind of like kills out of impulse. So he killed, I think, these couple women he picked up, I think prostitutes, and he just kind of stabbed them because he just got angry and stuff. And then they categorized the serial killers as organized and unorganized serial killers. And then you can see the comparison between like if you sit down and talk to, I don't know, someone that's unorganized, you probably wouldn't feel comfortable because they're not smart. They just kind of like unpredictable.
They act on emotion, right?
Yeah. And then the intelligent ones, it'll be like sitting down and talking to Ted, like Ted Bundy or somebody, and it'll be a little creepy.
Ted Bundy is the Zodiac killer?
No, Ted Bundy. Nobody knows who the Zodiac killer is. Ted Bundy is Ted Bundy. He killed a bunch of women in a couple states. I don't remember his story that well.
Who's the serial killer that with the Black Dahlia?
The Black Dahlia.
Do you know?
I don't think that one got caught. I know the story of the Black Dahlia where they found
I don't think that person never got caught either. Cause I think for that story, that serial killer was so good that killer was pretty much leaving clues for the police.
Mm-hmm. I haven't searched into that one. That's one of the I only saw like 4 serial killers, and then kind of like a couple other like the Unabomber is not really a serial killer. He just bombs people, I guess. But I know about the Black Dahlia a little bit. How she got, like, they found her in a tree or something.
Just in the plain.
Yeah, like all caught up and stuff.
On like a field.
But they didn't. They called her They didn't. That was not her name, Dahlia.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I think it was in the newspaper. They just called her Black Dahlia or something. I gotta look into that, but it's definitely interesting. All that stuff I like. Not like in the sense that I like to see it, but just like learning about it.
Yeah,
it's all
same.
weird and shit. Same with scary stories. Like just like scary stories, serial killers, conspiracy theories. That's my type of shit. I like it.
So like, let's say you're interviewing a serial killer, like sitting where I am, right?
I'll do it.
But like with all this stuff around me, around the serial killer, would you feel comfortable? Like you look around this table and you're just thinking like,
What could he grab?
yeah,
Even this mic, this shit's heavy. Like this,
probably like bash your
just like
skull,
solid
right?
steel. Yeah, just grab it and just.
Yeah.
Maybe not, cause like the guy that was 6'9", like 300 pounds. I'll probably want him to be chained up a little bit, and it'll probably have to be like an empty room where the freaking chairs and tables are like nailed down, or screwed down or something, cause he could still hop over and choke you.
Yeah.
I think when the main character went to his first interview, his partner who didn't go with him was like, "You're taking your gun?" Because the guy was packing his gun. He was like, "Yeah, just in case." He was like, "You know, he's just gonna, if he wants to, he'll just hop over, grab the gun away from you, and then just kill you with it. Your gun's not gonna do anything." And then the guy's like,
That's a
right.
good point.
But then when he got to the place, they took the gun away from him.
Oh, so he couldn't have
So
it anyway.
yeah, he couldn't even have it with him.
Damn.
Check out the show. Speaking of shows, do you see the Free Solo? You didn't see it yet?
I've been watching you.
What do you mean? Oh, the show? Oh,
Yeah.
That's another thing. Yeah, so speaking about
I
serial killers.
actually like that show because you see how like it puts you in perspective.
Of the serial killer? I
Yeah.
just finished it. I only saw season 2. I didn't watch season 1.
Like it's not real, but like
It's
the way
fascinating.
that he thinks, it's like a normal human being.
But very skewed. It's really weird. I really like the show.
He
It's a really good show.
justifies everything.
That's another show that got me kind of fascinated by serial killers.
Mhm.
That one, Mindhunters, and then watching all the documentaries. You finished it? Okay,
I'm up to season 2, episode 7.
Okay, so you're pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything for you because I skipped season 1 because my girlfriend watched it, and then I just
Uh-huh.
kind of hopped it in the second season, and she explained to me the first season, but it's really good. It's really good. What else? But Free Solo, man, is really good too. If you watch it, so if you don't, so we're kind of jumping.
You finally watched it?
I watched it. I think like 2 days after you mentioned it,
Uh-huh.
and I just forgot to mention it to you. So I know we're jumping from topic to topic, but this is just another TV show. I mean, another movie that came out.
I mean, it's still along the lines of
shows.
it
Yeah,
I mean, because like no normal person would climb with no gear like that. You
Yeah.
know? So like I think even it's impressive that he was able to do it, but
Mhm.
you have to be in a certain mindset to be able to do that. You know, like it's not a confidence thing.
You want to
'Cause
explain to them what Free Solo is?
okay, so Free Solo, it's this guy, he climbs El Capitan with no gear.
El Capitan is it's like a cliff
Yeah.
in Yosemite in California. It's like 3,000 feet tall or something. It's crazy.
You'll die. You know, like
Yeah, you'll die. Imagine,
one slip, you're gonna
think-
die.
I don't think I would climb like 10 feet. Like a straight wall, even with brick, it might be a little difficult.
Yeah. You see, but like if you fall from 10 feet, right?
You're getting hurt, but
You-
you're not dying though.
You might not even get too seriously hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, climbing like a mountain like that, you'll die.
So I wanted to mention this. That's why I brought it up. So you told me to watch Free Solo, and before you told me that I watched the Dawn Wall, which is the same thing. Oh shoot, what happened? We're still recording. It's another thing about mountain climbing.
Yeah.
So Dawn Wall is about this guy named Tom something, and he climbs El Capitan also, but he climbs the hardest side of El Capitan that has never been climbed before. But he does it with gear, and it takes him like 2.5 weeks or something. And then I watched the Free Solo, which is about a guy who climbs El Capitan, easier side, obviously, but with no gear, and within like 2 hours or something. And that shit was crazy. If you watch any of those, right? Watch Dawn Wall and then El Free Solo, because they talk about the Dawn Wall movie in Free Solo. So it's kind of like this guy
It's
did
like a
something
prequel.
amazing, and then this guy was like, all right, I'm gonna do something amazing. It's different. It's really dope. It's also kind of freaking. Gives you chills. So, well, the reason I also brought it up is because speaking about serial killers. So serial killers there's something wrong with them, right? Mentally, and I don't know if they were born with it or they developed it throughout their lifetime from being like abused and beat or like tortured. But something interesting about the guy who climbed the Capitan without gear is that they did some studies on his brain, and they found out that he doesn't get scared as easily as other people. So I think they were showing him images of things that would scare people, like snakes, spiders, or whatever, while CAT scanning his brain, and there was no activity in that section of his brain, so that's why he's not scared of climbing a fucking mountain without gear. So it's crazy how you could see two different people, one that is kind of mentally different than us normal people, and then one that's also mentally different than us, and one is a freaking rock climber that does amazing things, and then one is a freaking serial killer. I just thought that was interesting. I just connected two freaking things that have no correlation with them.
I'm sure, like it's crazy, man.
Uh-huh.
Now I think about it too, because like imagine like sitting down with the serial. Like I always thought it would be interesting to sit down with the serial killer and like just try to pick at their brain, like, because I feel like there's always a reason. Like almost behind everything I do, there's motive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I would want to find out, like.
Well, this is why they're serial killers, right? Because before they were named serial killers, people couldn't understand why anybody would kill for no reason, multiple people.
Yeah.
Because before that, people that killed other people, it was like to rob them or to get something or to rape them or something specific. Oh, you betrayed me, so I'm gonna kill you. But this was just a person killing another person randomly, and that kind of freaked people out. So knowing their motives is gonna be a difficult thing to understand. They might not even have motives. They just might be like, oh, I just felt like killing somebody that day. Who knows?
Do you think like they think about it, like they're even aware, like, or it's just like another thing for them, like, cause what is the term serial killer, right? Is it? I thought a serial killer is just someone who, like, target after target.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So it's not just like they want to kill one person and then.
I think
okay, so maybe it is no motive then, right? They just like killing people.
A hitman basically technically kills person after person, but they have a motive.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to kill somebody. Yeah. I think a serial killer is a person that kills people for no reason, or very like.
But you see, like, even I feel like serial killers, they usually have like targets as well.
Yeah. So in the show, they cover this person who killed two elderly women, and then kills their dogs, and then literally found out that his mom is kind of a fucking bitch and he has this little shitty dog. So that's kind of the motive, but
It's just like trying to.
But just
probably picturing his mom, right?
Yeah, but it's probably too random. It could be anybody's grandma with a dog. It doesn't have to be. It's not targeted. You know what I mean? It's still random, but it's a
just
criteria.
Something that like triggers in his head, probably.
Who knows?
In their head.
Yeah, serial killers, man. It's just. I mean, I wish I had more information. I didn't plan this to talk about serial killers. It's just been in my mind the whole time because while I was setting up today and stuff, I was watching Mindhunters. But I have a story if you want to hear it. So.
It's just the hiking story, right?
Yeah. So. I want to try something new. I want to tell Mr. Norman here a scary story, or a mystery.
Okay.
A mystery about these hikers who were hiking in Russia and went missing, and then they found their bodies. So let's take my little notes out, and I'll explain to you everything. So Dyatlov's Pass. Have you ever heard of that? I mean, I told you earlier.
Not till now.
So it's gonna be a little detailed, but I'm gonna try to get through it because the thing is that I tried to tell you about Skinwalker Ranch and I didn't have all the details, and I don't like telling you a story without all the details.
Yeah.
All right. So in February 1st, 1959, I got my notes here, so don't attack me. Eight men and 2 women decided to go on an expedition into Western Soviet Union during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's snowing, it's crazy, but these are experienced hikers, experienced mountain climbers. They have all the gear. They know Russia like the back of their hand, and their leader was Igor Dyatlov, which is Dyatlov's Pass. So I guess that's why they named it after him. So, So how well do you know Russia? Like the map of Russia. So if you see Russia here, they're in Western Russia. So or Soviet Union. So that's the right side of Europe. I mean, the right side of Russia. most of the cities and major areas are on the left side. So if you're out there in the freaking middle of nowhere, nobody's gonna see you, nobody's gonna find you for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's where they're freaking mountain climbing or hiking or whatever.
On the far west?
In the far west, far west. No, far east.
Far east?
No, far west. I don't know. Far west, far west. But the point is that they're not near civilization.
Okay.
So there's these 10 hikers. They're deciding to go to a specific. They're going to this specific spot, and then one of them, on the way, gets sick, so he just heads back after almost getting there. Right. So at this point, they're traveling through train, bus, car, trying to get to this place, and then there's a bunch of photos and stuff. I don't know if you want to see them of them just kind of traveling.
Oh, look, I'm from 1959.
I can show you real quick. So
Yeah.
this is them. So there you can see them.
Damn, they actually had photo cameras.
Yeah, so it's 1959. It's not that long ago, dude. It's
That sounds like a long time ago.
it's to you, but they had cameras. They're black and white. So I'll show you the camera. Let me move this.
Damn, that's kind of crazy.
So there's a quick image. I'm not gonna post it, just because I don't want to be copywritten. I don't know whose information this is, but if you want to look it up, it's Dyatlov Alright, so I'm gonna tell you the story, and it's gonna get a little mysterious, like a little bit crazy after a while.
Yeah.
So these guys reach this mountain, like the bottom of the mountain, and that's the last time they're seen by the like indigenous people, and the indigenous people call this mountain the Dead Mountain, which is a little crazy, right? So the hikers set up camp a few, I think oh shit, that's scary, too scary.
This is the last they seen of us.
So there's 9 people left, right? There's
Yeah,
9
because
people
one dude
left.
went back.
One dude went back. He got sick, and
Chickened out.
I don't know. I think he got sick. I don't think they're expecting to die. They all died.
Even this last dude?
No, he didn't die. He went
Okay.
back. So the point is that these hikers get lost. So they're hiking, and they reach the mountain, and they set up camp. I think a kilometer or like half a kilometer from the peak, and then the whole time they're taking pictures, like, as I showed you, and they're writing in their diary, and then the whole time they're writing about their experiences and how crazy it is that they're hiking through Russia or the Soviet Union. And this is the last diary entry they wrote before they went missing, and it says, "It is difficult to imagine such a comfort on the ridge with shrill howling winds hundreds of kilometers away from human settlements." So that's the last entry. And then a few weeks later, their friends and family haven't heard of anything from them, right? So they start getting worried. So they sent out like a search team to go find them, of a bunch of volunteers. So February 26th is when they find the location of their camp. And this is where it starts getting a little weird. So the camp is where they left off, which is a couple of like a kilometer away from the peak of the mountain. And they're not like on a mountain, like a steep mountain, they're like on a slope.
Okay.
So they find a tent. The tent's like all scrabbles, like the tent is in scrabbles and it's covered under snow. But they find all their equipment in the tent, all neatly packed and ready to go. And then they start noticing like weird clues around the campsite. And then they realize that the tents are cut apart, but from the inside, like if somebody's trying to escape something, right? So as they look around, they start finding footprints in the snow. They find 9 different pairs of footprints leading into the woods, going down the slope. And then that's when they find a small campfire, obviously like an old campfire.
Yeah.
By entering the woods, like at the beginning of the woods, and then they find 2 bodies. So there's the first 2 bodies out of the 9 people, and it's they're both dead from hypothermia. So they're frozen. They're 2 frozen bodies, but the thing about them is that they had no clothes on. So they found basically naked with just underwear and a shirt on, and minus 30 below zero. So So they're like, oh well, there's still, I don't know, 7 more hikers to find, right?
Yeah.
But then they noticed that one of the trees they were under looked like somebody tried to climb it. So then, were they trying to climb it to see where the camp was? Maybe they were in a blizzard and they couldn't find their stuff, or they were trying to escape something or someone, right?
Yeah.
So, I think a couple weeks passed before they would find anybody else, and I think, what was it, like 2 weeks? Oh, I said it took 2 months to find. Okay, so it took 2 months to find the rest of the people, right?
Yeah.
So then, they find 4 people. What was it? No, not 4 people. It was 2 more people in the snow, covered in snow, frozen, also naked. And then they find the last 4 people down in the other side of the campsite, in a kind of like a cliff. They're down a hill, covered in by 6 feet of snow. Oh, no, 9 feet of snow, 3
Damn,
meters
that's
of
a lot
snow.
of snow.
Yeah, and they find them. They find one guy with a fractured skull. They find 2 other guys and 1 woman, I think, with broken ribs and like internal bleeding, as if they were hit by a car or something. Like something they usually wouldn't see in hikers, right? Unless they fell from a freaking cliff or something. Which
Yeah.
they were at the bottom of a hill. And then the weird part is that one of the women, those 2 women, had her tongue missing. So something ripped their tongue out. And then two of the guys had their eyes gouged out. So they were missing eyeballs and they just had eye sockets. So they found all the bodies now, right? So there's 4 down the cliff. There's 2 by the campsite, frozen, and then there's 2 by the woods. So that's all of them, and they're all like unequipped and they don't have their clothes on and everything's like missing. And then they start they discover that 2 of their clothes, like 2 of the people's clothes, is radioactive. So then this is where it kind of gets mysterious, because nobody could explain what happened or what caused them to run away from their campsite with no equipment, naked, and try to climb a tree or fall down a ditch. And then this is where we get into UFOs. So let me show you some pictures.
Radioactive, though.
Yeah. So I know I'm kind of butchering the story, so let's do it this way for the peoples could see the pictures. Hopefully it doesn't fuck anything up. Alright, so that's that's their tent.
So
tent,
this is after they've been found.
This is while they were running. I mean, not running. That's as they were going towards the mountain. This is their tent when they were discovered. There's the frozen bodies with no clothes on. What is this one? Another body by the campfire with some clothes on. So it still didn't have all their equipment. So he had no shoes or gloves or hat. And then supposedly this is a picture of a UFO. So so this is where it gets a little. Alright, so check this, right?
Okay.
You don't believe in UFOs?
I mean, I do, but like you're gonna have to point out to me like what.
So this is not a UFO. So this is the stupid part, right?
Oh.
So supposedly there was UFO sightings the day of the disappearance. So there was indigenous people that live in the area that saw bright lights in the sky at night, and then there was also soldiers and also other hikers that were in the area. They saw lights at night, not the same night, but within that same time. And then this whole thing happened, right, where we're missing, and that picture that has just like a weird light on it.
Yeah.
It's the last picture in their camera that they ever took.
So supposedly that's supposed to be like.
That's what conspiracy theories say. But who knows? It might be anything. All right, so that's the story. It's not that complicated. It's just I want to get the details down.
Okay.
What?
That's crazy.
So it's about
9 people.
9 people went missing.
And all 9 are dead.
All 9 are dead. And people say it was like a haunted mountain. So something attacked them and they ran away from their campsite and tried to escape. So a couple people ran towards the woods. A couple people went into the other direction and fell down a cliff and got buried under snow. and then maybe a guy tried to climb a tree and tried to escape whatever was chasing them, and then the people who survived, I guess, tried to find their way back but froze to death before they reached the campsite. Or oh, here's another thing that I didn't explain to you. So they did studies on the bodies, right?
Yeah.
So they found what am I looking at? Sorry. So they investigated their bodies after they found them, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I said they were missing eyeballs and they were missing a tongue. But this is what the leading investigator said to close the case. He said the cause of death was an unknown compelling force which the hikers were unable to overcome. So they didn't come to a conclusion. They were just like, we don't know. Okay. So let's close this up. So imagine you get killed or you die and they're just like, yeah, we don't know. Fuck it.
Damn, you think people are still like trying to investigate it till this day?
Yes. Cause so I heard this story a long time ago, right? And it's kind of always been interesting to me. But then I watched this video in the past year. They kind of try to break down what really happened and explain everything. So what he was saying was that maybe they were running away from an avalanche, or they heard like what they thought was an avalanche because everybody was drinking and stuff. So they all ran away. So one went this way, one went that way, the other ones went this way. So one fell down a couple fell down the cliff. The other ones got lost in the woods, and the other ones trying to make it back by climbing the tree and seeing where the campfire is, and they just all froze to death. The missing tongue and the missing eyeballs could have been just like wild animals eating their remains. It also could be just they were frozen in snow and they just kind of decomposed, because your eyes and your tongue is really soft tissue that just decomposes really easily, especially when it's freezing and it's thawed out.
Are your eyeballs soft?
Yeah. So if
I
you
thought
freeze
it was hard.
Softer than like your muscle and stuff.
Cause you know, Chinese people, we eat fish, right? And we like everything. And like they'll suck the eyeball too. So like there's like it's like soft around it, but like the actual eyeball, it's hard.
It's hard.
And like I feel it's like chalky.
I don't
it's
know.
Chalky.
I never ate an eyeball.
Like you can't eat the eyeball, but like if you cut it in half, right? Like it's like chalky. But you can't
might just
eat
be
it.
a fish though.
I would assume that like maybe other eyeballs are like that too.
Well, the video explained that the eyeballs might have just decomposed because they were in water and stuff.
But they were gouged out, right? Like
it just looked like it just said they were gouged and missing, but who knows?
And then somebody was missing a tongue.
Yeah, somebody was missing a tongue, which
they could have bit it off.
That's something they said, that it looked like the person ate their own tongue because there was a bunch of blood found in their stomach.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable talking about the story as like us two talking about the story instead of me just reading it from a piece of paper, because I'm trying to remember it as I'm reading it. But yeah, so she was missing a tongue. There was a bunch of blood in her stomach, supposedly. So another thing they said to explain the blood was that it might just be blood mixed with food, because they didn't call it blood. They said a red fluid in their stomach.
They ate a lot of ketchup.
Maybe. Another thing, the radioactive clothes. The guy who made the video explained it that the two people with the radioactive clothes were worked in nuclear power plants.
So that could be it.
Yeah. So everything has an explanation, but when the story came out, it was kind of nuts, because it's just like, yo, a bunch of crazy events happened. And now all these guys are dead.
And this is the last photo on their camera.
Yeah, which is like just a bright light, which people are like saying UFO. Yeah, so that's the first story I got for you. I got another one, but you already know it, so I don't know if you want to hear it.
What do you think happened to them?
They probably got drunk, scared, and then just all got into an accident and died, which is stupid.
Unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
Word, that's true. Like, why would you be drinking out there?
Because you want to stay warm, and they're Russians too.
True.
Russians drink, love drinking. If we went camping, you'll want to drink too.
I would not.
Why not? But you also don't drink though.
Yeah,
you would like to smoke.
I would probably smoke.
So what if you were high?
But like, some shit could happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, you don't even have to be high to for something to happen.
Yeah. But like you see, like I don't usually don't act out of the ordinary. Like if a bear was maybe like if a bear was chasing me and I was like, all right, it's
How
either I
about
let
this?
this bear mangle me or I jump off a cliff.
Exactly. Would you?
I don't know what I would choose.
So think about it this way, right? Let's say us two and a couple friends go camping in the woods, and then it's dark. We're surrounded by the we're surrounding the campfire in a circle. Half of us are drinking. You're not drinking because you don't drink. And then we hear something in the woods, and then three people panic and everybody runs. And then since three people run, everybody decides to run in different directions. One person trips, falls, hits his head. One person tries to escape, whatever heard the sound, so they climb a tree. You and whoever run, and it's dark and it's night.
And we bust our ass.
Yeah, or you run off a cliff
Fuck.
and fall down because you don't know where you're going. You're just running
Yeah,
through
I'm
the woods.
blind too.
So I feel like
It is plausible.
I don't know, man. A lot of stupid shit happens. Or what if like you do get attacked by a bear and you just freaking start running, and then everybody just gets lost because everybody's like
I don't know.
on their own.
That is weird though. Like the tent was cut from the inside too.
That's what I'm thinking. Like so.
They were definitely running then.
So the original like conspiracy theory was that something like a UFO attacked them, or the Yeti attacked them, or like a monster attacked them,
Yeti.
or somebody was hunting them down.
A polar bear.
Or another one was like this like supernatural force made them walk away from their tent, like it took control over them, and they decided to escape and run away with no clothes on. What I'm assuming is they just started to crack and thought an avalanche was coming, so they were in their tent, hanging out, partying, and then you hear, because you ever heard a avalanche? It's just like a loud bang noise, and then just kind of all the snow starts coming down. So it might be that, like they're just like, oh shit, avalanche, and they just dip.
It feels at like nighttime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can't see nothing, especially out there where it's like, if nobody's there, there's no lights or anything. It'll probably just be pitch black.
So, I don't know. I thought it was an interesting story. I think next time, another thing I want to do besides scary stories is conspiracy theories.
I think that could be fun.
So, you want to hear a story, a different story, a scary story? This one is Israel, but I didn't write it down because I just thought about it right now.
Uh-huh.
So there was a story of three lighthouse keepers living on this island in Europe or something.
In Europe?
Yeah. So this is all written down in diaries. So it takes place, three people in Europe in this lighthouse, and all they have to do is just maintain the lighthouse, right? And then they're on an island in the middle of like the ocean, or like away from the shore where they can't see the land. And they're just hanging out, they're partying, right? Not partying, but just just hanging out, doing normal stuff, eating, drinking, writing their diary. And then like a couple months later, people don't hear from them, and then they go to the island, and they're missing. They're nowhere to be found, right? And then they get the diary, and they said that a huge storm came by, and they've been locked inside the lighthouse for a couple of days, and it hasn't stopped raining, and the wind hasn't stopped going. And then and they don't know what day it is because they don't have like their like clocks don't work or something. And then that's the last entry in the diary. And then the people investigating the situation were like, there hasn't been a storm reported in like months. So how did these guys go missing? It's just a real short story, but I just thought it was interesting. Let me see if I can find it.
Damn, it's haunted, man. Lighthouse insurance. Anybody need lighthouse insurance?
Alright, so I'm searching up the actual story. This will be way easier if we had like a third person here. That's a long ass story. I'm trying to read that shit. The mysterious disappearance of how do you pronounce that? Eileen Moore lighthouse keepers. Eileen Moore. The mysterious disappearance of Eileen Moore. On the 26th of December 1990, a small ship was making its way to Flannan Island in the remote outer Hebrides. And its destination was the lighthouse of Eileen Moore, a remote island which, apart from its lighthouse keepers, was completely inhabited. Although inhabited, the island the island had always sparked people's interest. It is named after. Okay, that doesn't matter. Captain James was in charge of the boat. Whatever, he didn't had no he had no response. Once the lighthouse noticed something was immediately wrong, the door of the lighthouse was unlocked, and in the entrance hall, two of the three oilskin coats were missing. Okay, this is a whole thing, bro. This is a whole thing.
See what the comments say.
Fake news. Such a sad story. No one will ever know what happened to these men. I could see an interesting premise for a thriller movie in this story. So this island's off the UK. I'm gonna see if I can find the diary. Here we go. A final log entry was made on the 15th of December. It simply read, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is overall." What was meant by God is overall? After reading the logs, okay. Further clues were found on the. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. That's just mad long, bro. But yeah, these guys were missing because of a storm, but there was no storm happening during that time. Are you reading it?
Yeah.
What does it say? Maybe they got swept away. Like, who knows? Maybe that at the edge and a freaking big ass wave came and just, whoop, they're gone.
Maybe it's possible. Damn, we'll never know.
It's a gloomy day here in New York City. And
you just gotta leave it up to your imagination, man.
It's interesting though.
Damn.
I wish I knew all these stories, man, by like heart. So I could just tell them real easily. But
I just want to know the answers.
Dude,
like,
if you were, think about it, if you died, right?
Yeah.
And so this is something I think about. Like, what happens after you die?
I don't
do you
know.
go to heaven? Do you go to hell? Or nothing happens?
Just lights out, right?
I don't know. But wouldn't it be cool if you, like, let's say you die, and then your soul was able to explore time and space for all eternity, and you're able to go back in time and witness.
What's the first thing you would look at?
That's a good question. What's the first? If I died and I was able to look at everything, I think can I go to the future?
No.
Okay, I'll only go to the past.
Yeah. I mean, you'll, not that you can't go to the future, but you have to just live with it. Like, go as it goes.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that. So, damn, that gotta suck though. But there's a lot of past to explore,
you could
though.
dwell so far down that like by the time you're back, it's like
okay, I
so
like
much
that.
more has happened.
Honestly, I hope that happens when I die. Just explore everything and figure out the
That'd be so cool.
mysteries. I would. It will have to be a mystery, like JFK or 9/11 to see the truth. But I might do like one of these stories, like something crazy. What would you go?
I don't know.
If you had to do a specific one,
A specific one?
I'll do JFK. I want to see what happens to JFK.
Oh, man, I don't even know. I don't know what I would do. Probably just look around and like things around my life first.
Really, your life? I'm like, I saw all that shit already. I'm
Like,
trying to see something crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I would do?
What?
I'll follow Bob Lazar and his life first. So when he was like, not when he was born, but when he started working at Area 51, and then we quit and all the stuff around Area 51. I would just do that.
Just look around, right?
Just look around. Just follow them as a ghost. Look, like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? There's an alien spaceship right there. Aight, test it out.
Go inside it and shit.
Mm-hmm. Or like Roswell, New Mexico, when the Roswell crashed, when the UFO crashed. Dude, I'll do something with UFOs. Like, I'll do that. I'll try to be on the plane when what's that guy? Do you hear the story about this fighter pilot that saw the UFO?
He stole a UFO.
He saw a UFO. So he was on Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan after Bob Lazar. Do you know the story about Bob Lazar?
Yeah, he worked for Area 51.
Yeah, so he said that the UFOs are still around and people still use them. And then this guy, he was like a general for the Air Force. He was flying this like, not mission, but like a practice where they just flying around, and it was him and like another plane. Excuse me, and he saw a object in the water, like under the water, like a cigarette shaped object, and then he noticed that there was another object, like a UFO shaped object floating above it, and then him and the other plane were trying to track it with their surveillance, but they couldn't like tag it, and it didn't come out in their.
It's probably like stealth vehicle, right?
Yeah, or no, what they noticed that the item was actively jamming their radars and stuff, so they couldn't track it down, and then it just went foop and it disappeared.
Damn.
Dude, it's crazy. There's footage too. There's actual footage of, because the thing is that they couldn't lock on it, right? So the guy did it manually, so he just kind of aimed the device or whatever, the camera at it, and you could see it flying around. And then
Damn, man, it just went.
it just disappeared.
Yo, I was really interested in this stuff when I was younger.
I'm still interested in it just because UFO. So yeah, so he saw the UFO, and then later they were talking about how it's really common for people to see UFOs, especially fighter pilots. UFOs as in unidentified flying objects, not as in like alien spaceships. So he goes on Joe Rogan and talks about this shit, and he has footage, and he explains everything and how it's not fake, and he didn't even want to do it, and how he's a freaking military guy. I'll show you the footage right now.
That's crazy, bro. All right, it's this one.
This is one of them. I don't know if it's this one specific because we don't have audio. So he was explaining here that the speed is going is like faster than anything they could fly at the time or whatever. It was so, there you go, super hypersonic speed. Because the thing is that from here to like here is like hundreds of miles, or like a bunch of miles or something. You got to listen to this freaking thing, bro. It's just crazy. All right, I'm gonna stop that.
Navy pilots.
So I'll probably, if I died and was able to go anywhere or see anything, I'll probably check out some UFOs or something, see what's up. Maybe they're lying, maybe not. But the point is that I would know the mystery.
How about the episode with Edward Snowden, when he was able to look into the, what is it, all the stuff?
Yeah, he said that he didn't see any UFO
Yeah, he
stuff.
didn't see any of
But
it.
he said,
But he this is what he said also. He said if there was any like there, he would have had access to it at that
Yeah.
time. But he was like, maybe it's like super top secret to the point where it's like they either have it hidden really well or it just wasn't there.
so what do you believe in?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they do exist though. Like,
What if they don't exist, but the government uses UFOs and other conspiracy theories to distract us from what's really happening? So let's say that Bob Lazar actually did see UFOs and did see stuff, and the U.S. government just planted him in the media and make him think he actually saw UFOs to distract us from what they're actually doing. Because
likely.
maybe UFOs or whatever has never visited Earth, and we're like, oh shit, UFOs, but we're ignoring the real stuff like the Panama Papers and I don't know, wars, and I don't know what else there is.
Just to get us distracted, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's likely. I don't know, man. All this stuff is like way beyond me.
I'd
Sorry.
like to do that. So look at UFOs, and I also like to look into the government and all that shit, like the billionaire cults and stuff.
Oh man.
You ever heard about that?
I mean, with
Like,
all the banks and stuff.
Yeah, I would like to look into that, see what I find, snoop around. Dude,
What if they could see you as a ghost and they capture you
and put me in a
as a
cage?
ghost?
Ooh. Fuck it.
Risk it,
I would just. So if you're a ghost, can you die again? So maybe go to a third dimension.
The
No,
third. Just layers on layers, right?
Yeah, just keep dying and dying. Who knows? Maybe if you die, you as soon as you die, you wake up as another being in this planet or in the universe.
So that's what some people believe into, like reincarnation.
Yeah. But
How do you feel about that?
reincarnation or just dying?
Like sometimes, remember even when Joe Rogan was talking to Lil Duval,
Yeah.
And you're like, man, sometimes it feels like you just meet people and you're like, y'all been here before.
Yeah.
Like some
I see
pieces.
that. I don't. I mean, I don't like, because I'm very science based.
Uh-huh.
Growing like, so I grew up very religious, right?
Yeah.
So I learned about heaven and hell,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was learning science, I was trying to trying to understand
With religion.
with religion. And I didn't like
Just
that,
didn't
so
make sense,
I
right?
just switched over like 100%. I was just like, lights shut off. So you just kind of get eaten by maggots, and you just never, your consciousness just never is activated again.
Jim, so now you're more
Now
on
I'm in
the
the middle.
science side?
I'm
In
in
the
the
middle?
I'm towards the science side, but I, because I know a lot of science in the sense that I went to college and whatever. Like, I'm not a scientist or anything, but I know more than before.
Yeah.
Uh, the more you know, the more you realize that you actually don't know anything, and the more you realize that we don't even understand what our consciousness is or where it is, because your consciousness could be in your brain, but also could be somewhere else, but it uses your brain as a window to the world. You get what I'm saying? So, like, what do you believe in? Do you believe your brain is your consciousness, or your consciousness is out of your body?
I would say that I would think that it's in our brain.
Yeah. So if your brain dies, you're just done, right?
Yeah.
What is consciousness?
I don't know.
So consciousness is,
It's the way. What would you say your consciousness is?
so I have a real, so the definition of consciousness, right,
Yeah.
is your ability to think and perceive the world. You're right. You sleepy?
Yeah. Just
Perceive
rubbing my eyeballs.
So your ability to think and perceive the world, through your own eyes, I guess, and make judgments, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have the most complex consciousness out of all the animal kingdom, because I doubt a freaking snail has consciousness. If they do have consciousness, it'll be very, like, limited or prehistoric. But then a dog will have consciousness, because they could be sad, happy, but it's probably not as complicated as a human.
I was gonna say that. I feel like dogs are like the closest.
Probably not. Probably like,
Do you think they're smarter animals?
yeah.
Well, they probably are, but I don't know.
Like, yeah. So the pig is smart.
A pig is smart?
The pig is smarter than a dog. Chimps and
Well, I guess it's because I only see dogs, right?
Yeah, so
I'm not
dogs-
gonna see a pig running around
so
the street.
all right. So if there's a spectrum, right,
Yeah.
of intelligence and consciousness, we're at the top, right? Because we're just smartest.
Okay.
At the bottom will be like single cellular, I don't know, single cellular animals or whatever, and then every other animal falls within that spectrum.
Yeah.
So dogs are probably towards the top because they're one of the most complex beings in the universe. Just because they have a brain, they could actually act, they could make judgment, they could learn and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not right under us. I mean,
Okay.
chimps, bonobos, orangutans are pretty smart. Gorillas,
Oh
elephants,
yeah, that's true. Because
dolphins.
they can learn and do stuff too.
Yeah. So, but the point is that they probably do have consciousness, right? So, if you die, where does your consciousness go?
Goes with you
To where? With your body?
to wherever you're going.
So therefore, if your consciousness goes somewhere when you die, that means it's not part of your body. That means it's a separate entity.
I would think that like, so I don't know because I'm still here, but
Oh.
I think that when we go, we just turn off.
So you don't go to heaven, you go to hell, you don't, just nothing.
I don't know.
Blankness.
I feel like that's like for me that's the most logical answer.
I think so too, but there's a lot of things that can't be explained. That once you look into it, it just kind of gets a little fuzzy and gray instead of just being black or white.
I mean, there's no way to like for us currently. There's no way to like research into that realm, right?
Mm-hmm. Who knows? That's the thing. It's all theoretical.
So-
But what if you go to a different dimension? If you can become a freaking,
I don't know.
or what if you're reborn? Right? What if your consciousness is recycled? So
You think so?
No, I don't. I have no
I
idea.
feel.
There's no.
I feel
think
like
so or not.
okay. So you see how you're saying the conscious could be recycled, right?
Yeah.
I feel like in a way that could be true.
Like karma, not karma, like
Not karma,
reincarnation.
but like yeah, because people are adaptive, right? Like
Mhm.
our minds are very adaptive. So the closest thing we have to like reincarnation or just like our ideas recycling is whatever information is out there. And now that we have the internet, like you can see a lot of different perspectives because especially with YouTube and everything, you have all these vloggers and shit
Mhm.
where you can get to know people without ever meeting them. So like you can see these people and their traits, right?
Yeah.
And like you can bounce off of them. So I feel like in a sense, like,
You live on.
yeah, like recycling that way, right?
That's different though. That's just like your idea lives on,
Yeah.
but not necessarily your
Your consciousness.
consciousness.
But I feel like that's the thing too. Like that's another thing. Like, have you ever met somebody that is like so similar to you? You feel like, wow, this. Like I've met people that are similar to me, and I'm like, wow, you're like just in
like-
terms of behavior,
We met before.
interaction.
But
Not that we met before, but like I'm like, damn, we're very like-minded.
But we might be very like-minded because we're freaking the same species, and we are supposed to be.
But then also, there's people that are so different from you as well.
Yeah, but if there's people that are so different from you, there has to be people that are really similar to you. Therefore,
Oh, for sure. But like,
therefore you can't really, you know what I'm saying?
but like for my personal experience, I've only met 2 people that are anything close to me, and the first person I met was in high school, and we were similar, but we were different. We were similar in the way where
You believe in the same stuff and had the same ideas and stuff.
a lot of similarities like that, but and then the thing where we differed was personality traits, as in like behaviors. Like I was way more aggressive than that person. That person was like way more passive. You know, like for me, I was just more aggressive, I guess.
I feel like, what if you guys had like,
And we're not, these people, that person I'm talking about, we're not related at all.
I don't know. I mean, I just think people are similar in some aspects. It doesn't have to necessarily be genetic or.
But like to that point, I was like, damn, this is kind of scary. And it's like it was just easy to get along with that person because we just clicked so well.
Man. Maybe you knew each other before in the past life.
lifetime.
This is getting a little crazy. I'm scared. So, all right. So you want to call it?
All right, let me bring up one more thing though,
All right,
right?
go for it.
So like you see how history has like a way of repeating itself.
Yeah.
I feel like because there's a lack of, you know, information of like just there's no guidelines to living life, right? So everyone kind of goes through their trials and triumphs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like now that we can document it, people are gonna go down similar paths and they're gonna see like possible outcomes. And I feel like because of that, they can live through other people's shoes.
You know what I think is gonna happen?
What?
Something to that, really close. I think we're gonna get so advanced in technology that we're able to have a computer that's able to input a bunch of different calculations and simulate history exactly how it happened. You know what I'm saying?
But there would be so many different possibilities,
Exactly.
billions.
But the thing is that,
or like infinite possibilities.
the way I think about life, so you think of life as a chaotic, like random assortment of things happening at the same time, right?
Yeah.
I think it's not chaotic. It's not random. I think everything
It's calculated.
In a way we don't understand this. To us, it's random.
But it's way beyond us because we're like.
But we won't be able to do it. But
Yeah, we
if
won't.
we are able to make a computer.
Like, think about it. The people who would have that control, right, or that power, they gotta be
They'll
at the
control
top.
the world.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that we obviously wouldn't have that power, right?
Yeah.
But what if we, not us, but what if us advanced civilization or something that's infinitely smarter than us, right?
Yeah.
Is able to make a computer or a device that you could theoretically ask it a question, it'll give you the correct answer each time because it's able to analyze and calculate all the information based on what happened and has happened and all the information it has gathered and give you the correct answer. So in that sense, if you have a computer that powerful, it could theoretically recreate events in history because of the outcomes. So let's say you want to know what happened to JFK, right? So take all the information that has ever been accounted for or gathered or any situation that has ever happened, calculate it all together, and come out with an answer. And then if we're that advanced, we could theoretically simulate the situation again and put ourselves in it. So therefore, we could time travel.
You know, some people believe that.
What?
That life is a simulation.
Yeah.
So-
I don't believe it, but
So some people think that like when you die, boom, you wake up from your simulation.
maybe. Or
What
maybe.
if we're that advanced?
knows?
that like, and we don't even know it. This is just a simulation, and then like
It's a
when
pretty
we die,
shitty simulation, man.
we die in this simulation, and boom, we wake up, and it's like, all right, now we're ready to try another one.
Maybe it could be that.
That would be
There's-
crazy,
there's
right?
So much crazy shit. I feel like we could do a whole episode with just crazy shit that has happened, like just even like the idea of a simulation.
Yeah.
Because think about video games right now. They're pretty realistic, but not really. Like there's always something off, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see AI, like you ever seen like the cutscenes from a video game and they're so realistic, but there's always something off, like the uncanny valley in it. But what if we get to a point where they're so technically advanced that it simulates the real world, and then we go into there, and then we forget. Yeah, we just forget where we at. What if when we go to sleep, we're actually waking up from our simulation, and we go into
While we're dreaming.
yeah, or like let's say if we go to sleep in here, right, we'll wake up and leave the simulation and go do our stuff, and then come back, put the simulation back on, and then come back to this reality. And then our dreams are, oh shit, I dreamed about this, and I dreamed about that I was in a spaceship or something, and that's actually what we were living.
Nah, that's too crazy.
Dude, we're talking about UFOs and
that's
shit.
too crazy to fathom. Like, I don't know.
How about dreams are the different dimension that we travel to when we're or how about this? What if we're not alive right now? These are just memories that are being replayed as we're dying.
But why are they so? Why would they be so clear then? Like
They're not clear. They feel clear, but they're not. Because think about your whole existence, your whole life, right?
Yeah.
It's all a memory. From this point back, it's all a memory.
Yeah.
But what if that never happened? What if that memory was just implanted in your brain? And
that's scary as fuck to think
Right?
about. You know what's crazy too? Like, you know, like I like to troll a lot, right?
Mhm.
And there's times where like I'll troll so hard to the point where I believe it.
I done that.
And
But
I'm like,
there's also the situation where like you convince somebody that something happened and you physically change their memories. So you know that's why
there's a word for that, right?
I
There's a
forgot.
phrase for it, actually.
I learned it in psychology for like criminal law and stuff. Because if I'm a cop,
Is it the Mandela effect? Is
no,
that what it's
that's
called?
something else. Though I'll explain to you the Mandela effect another day, but it's nothing that relates to this conversation. But what I'm saying is that they say you're a cop, right? I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
cop, and I arrest you for a rape and murder that happened near your neighborhood, and then I just berate you and try to convince you that happened.
That I did it, right?
Yeah, and then you eventually start believing that you did it just to get me to stop.
Yeah.
That's what happened with the.
The Central Park 5.
Yeah, exactly. Where they confessed to the murders, but they actually weren't even there, and they just went to jail. So that happens a lot.
But they didn't believe that they killed her.
But that's just an example. But there's a lot of situations where they actually.
I think it
are
will be
convinced.
in extreme cases. Like, you'd probably have to, like, physically
Honestly-
torture them.
Honestly, it's more common than you think.
Really?
For example, there's been situations where, me personally or you personally, like let's say I tell you a funny story, right? And then, or something, I'll tell you about a situation that happened to me, and then years happen, and you tell the story again, and you tell the story again, and then you forget who told it to you, and then you start saying it as it happened to you, and then eventually you think it happened to you after years of basically
Hearing it, right?
Yeah, because the
Damn.
thing about memories is that when you remember a memory, you're not remembering that specific day. You're remembering the last time you remembered it. So it kind of gets choppy. It's like playing the telephone game.
Telephone.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Things get lost in translation.
Because memory is kind of shit. If you try to remember what you had for breakfast.
Today,
Yeah.
I remember
What you ate.
eggs and avocado toast.
Okay. Do you remember the exact shape of the eggs and toast?
Not really.
Do you remember what plate you had it on?
Yeah, I remember the plate.
Do you remember?
Because I always use this. So for me, breakfast is usually so routine. So it's like, it's always the same shit.
But what I'm trying to say is that you can't.
If you wanted
picture-
me to draw a picture, I'd probably
Exactly. You can't draw a picture as in the sense of like the same way like a picture of the situation.
Like even the plate that I use, like I know which plate it is, but I have 4 of them at home. You know,
Yeah.
4 of the same place. But if you wanted me to draw it out, that I couldn't.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say.
I draw
Like
the
memory,
shape, but not the design on it.
our memory sucks. You're basically looking at a blurry image,
Uh-huh.
and then you can remember the little details that you focus on, but you can't remember the whole situation. That's why during like police reports, eyewitnesses are kind of suck, because if you tell a person this happened, or you mention this, so like let's say there's a crime that happened, right, and then you go around asking people what happened, and they'll give you a story, a fake story, and then they'll probably believe it. Like you'll be like, oh, so do you hear about the guy who robbed the store? And they'll tell you a full on fake story about, yeah, I heard the guy that robbed the store, but you could just make up that whole situation. It's real weird. The memory and attention and all this stuff is real weird. We're gonna have a whole psychological conversation about this, son.
Save for another day.
Yeah, I think so. I gotta pee.
All right, we'll end it here.
Alright, so you wanna end it here?
All right. Thank you guys for hanging with us today.
Today was
on this gloomy day.
Yeah, it was a little. It's kind of a dark conversation we had today. Serial killers, dead people,
conspiracies,
aliens, psychology, dying.
We're the psychology shit.
Well, thank you for watching.
It's been real.
It's been real. We love you.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, love you guys.